So you want to know how to get a 6-star blueprint fast. Well, I'm going to go slow so you know how to do this. But the punchline of the story is that even new players can have 6-star weapons very quickly thanks to blueprint conversions. Your first step is you're going to need Starcrom. Your main source of Starcrom will be the Stellar Stairway. As you earn Asterism, every 1,000 Asterism earned will turn into 600 Starcrom. Except when you're at 21,000, because there's no 21,000. There's no 43,000, and there's no 65,000. 22,000, you'll get 6,000 instead of 600. 44,000, and 66,000. At the end of the month, you will get a bonus 12,000 Starcrom. Once you have some Starcrom, ideally you will have 38,000. You will want to figure out what weapon you want to unlock. If you are new and you are not aware of this, when you go up to your wish machine, there are actually two options. One is make a wish. Two, under G, is the blueprint shop. When you go into the blueprint shop, you can look at all the weapons and it will let you decide which weapon you want to buy, and you will get the blueprint as 1 star. For this example, I have decided that I want to level up the Kumawink. It is the bounce submachine gun. Now, I could right now purchase it for 8,000. I want to show you that normally when you make this first initial purchase, what you're doing is you're buying the 1-star blueprint, not getting fragments. The only blueprint I happen to not have is I do not have the compound bow. Just to show you that I don't have it, even though it's grayed out, I run around here over to the weapons bench. If I try to craft a crossbow, I have the critical pulse legendary. I do not have the compound. And since I can only do this once, blueprints, crossbow, it's grayed out. I come in here, I go into blueprint shop, I come down to crossbow. There is the compound bow. I purchased that for 8,000 Starcrom. And now I have the blueprint unlocked. It now appears in my blueprint collection. And as I come over here to craft weapon, I can now make it. That is how you get your initial blueprint. If you already have a blueprint, for example, and I will buy the critical pulse crossbow, and you will see, instead, I just got 80 crossbow fragments, 80 legendary fragments. This is important because you can oftentimes get blueprints through either the wish machine in the limited time category, or sometimes there are events that will give you blueprints, and we can almost expect some of those events to be happening next month during Once Human's 1-year anniversary. You notice that each of these weapons in the blueprint menu have a style. You will see the Huntsman. This weapon blueprint is of the Huntsman style. For this example, I am going to be working on the Kumawink bounce submachine gun, which is in the Stranger style. The style is important because you can only load same style fragments into a blueprint to raise its star rating. As I come into any weapon, I will attempt to level it. As I load blueprints, you will see that a legendary blueprint is worth 30 XP. However, same name blueprints are worth twice as much. If I were to use an epic, epics are worth 10 XP apiece, fines are worth 3, and commons are worth 1. The big takeaway from that is that you always want to load same name blueprints, especially same name legendaries, into that weapon for double XP. Now, you probably will not be sitting on as many fragments as I am. This particular character has been played for a year, but hasn't bought any new blueprints because I wanted to make this video, and I already have 2 6-star blueprints. Unfortunately, having this many blueprint fragments actually makes the video harder to do. You will notice when I come back into the blueprint shop, I have nearly every blueprint, but most of my blueprint buy options are available. So for the majority of the weapons, I could get 80 legendary fragments easily. How have I managed to do this? Every 3 or so weeks, the wish machine rotates, and there are 3 limited time categories. It is always in your best interest to clear this category out because of the sheer number of legendary fragments you get. Those aren't for the weapons I'm trying to max. Don't worry, and trust Papa Jalan. You want as many fragments as you can get because you are going to rotate star level around with blueprint conversions. What are blueprint conversions? Blueprint conversions allow you to take a blueprint with more stars and give it to one with lesser stars. Let's say I did not want to run the Boom Boom light machine gun as my backup weapon. I could put the Boom Boom, which is 6 stars, into my top box, and then I could pick a different weapon. I could even pick a 1-star weapon like my last Valor, and then you swap the blueprint, and like magic, now my last Valor is 6 stars, and my Boom Boom drops to 1. The great part about this is if you make a weapon or armor with a 6-star blueprint, and then you swap that star rating to another blueprint, the item you made continues to be 6-star quality. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this indifferent? It's a different discussion, and I invite you to my Twitch show on Thursdays and Saturdays to talk all about this change, and if you think it helped the long-term health of the game, or if it hurt it. I want to level up my Kuma Wink, and I want to get it to 6 stars this evening so I can start working on another video. And even though I could buy Kuma Wink blueprints from the machine, I'm going to try to do this without doing that, because as a new player, you will probably need to make that 8,000 star crown purchase to unlock the 1-star blueprint. I will put a chart on the screen, but to level a weapon from 1 star to 6 stars, you will need 29,600 experience. At 30 XP per legendary, that's 966 legendary fragments, or 433 same name prints. And that is a lot of prints, even in the categories where I have thousands of fragments. I don't have 966 legendary prints. So that's going to be a challenge if you're new. Now, I know it takes 166 same name fragments to get the 10,000 XP that will be needed from 5 to 6. Since I know that I do not have 166 same name blueprints for the Kuma Wink, the question becomes, do I have enough other fragments to fill in the rest? So 105 legendary blueprints will give me 6,300 XP. 63 from 10,000 leaves me 3,700. So I'd need 370 purple blueprints to go from 5 to 6. And I have that. But how do I get to level 5? So the thing is, I need to start looking into which blueprints I have. And fortunately, in the first category, the Huntsman category, I see that I have 105 Doombringer fragments. And I also know that my Doombringer is 1 star, reflective of what a new player would have. But Jalan, how will a new player ever have that many? And this is where the limited time category is so important. You will clear out these categories because you simply want as many legendary fragments as you can get, regardless if they're of the right category or even the right weapon. So let's clear this out quickly just so we can see how many we get. And keep in mind, if you don't already have the blueprint, you will have to get enough to unlock it, so your number will be a little lower than mine. But as we play the Mr. Wish game, it is important to realize each and every one of these strikes is giving us blueprint fodder. And as you've played a while, most of these will pop the message that you've already unlocked these blueprints. But as we quickly hit Mr. Wishes, you will see that the big prize popped up. And as we finish off quickly, this is your menu for all of the blueprint fragments that you have earned. You also earn a bonus when you completely clear a category. If you didn't already own the weapon, you wouldn't have gotten 80 plus 10, but we did. And so now it gives us more flexibility. And since you've just seen that, I'm going to very quickly also clear out the Predator category, just in case we need the Predator blueprints, which I don't think that we will, but we're going to try to level up more than one weapon while we're doing this. So very quickly, and there we go, and we get our bonus. And again, this should give us another 80 plus 10 plus the 15 bonus that's not reflected. Now working without a script, because we only have one chance to get this right, we're aiming for that Kuma Wink to be 6 stars. So as we go into blueprints, we're going to start with the Doombringer shotgun. And the first thing we want to do is use up trash. And that takes us to 2 stars. To go to 3 stars, you'll notice we are able to do that with trash. And trash does not get us the rest of the way to 4 stars. So we'll burn some Doombringer blueprints. And now we do not have enough Huntsman blueprints to get us to 8,000. Now there are a couple of things we could do. We could waste bingo fragments, but as I said, we don't want to do that because those bingo fragments are worth twice as much XP if we load them into the bingo. And since we have such a ridiculous amount of bingo blueprints, it kind of ruins the punchline. So let's pretend I don't have those, and let's look for, say, the crossbow. So we have 210 critical pulse, which means we probably don't want to use it either. That hits over that magic number. So as we're looking around, we have the bounce sniper rifle. And we have that Predator that we just cleared out. So let's use that Predator. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to blueprint conversions, and you will notice that you get 6 of these a week. I happen to have 22 out of 18 because I haven't had to change any for a while, and they are often given in downtime compensation. So as I click in here, the first thing I want to do is find that 4-star Doombringer that we just worked on, and then I want to find the Predator, and I'm going to swap this. But Jay, you haven't made a Doombringer. You're right, and I don't make weapons unless they're 6-star. So we're going to make this swap. And we make this swap. We come back in, and here's our Predator. And we can just about fill that up with the Predator blueprints we got today. We'll use just a little bit of trash. And bingo, we're at 5 stars. But unfortunately, again, we can't fill it up. But we already talked about this. One more blueprint conversion. We'll take the Predator, and we will swap it with the Kuma Wink. And with that, we will now be able to finish tonight's goal. We will come here, and we will use 105 for that 6,300 I said earlier. We will round that off with purples, and there we go. We have very, very easily made a 6-star weapon.
I wonder if the organic meat sack that runs this channel knows a lot of these sponsors don't sponsor us anymore.
They were longtime sponsors. The credits are fine.
Do we get paid? Is any of this sponsorship money for Gale, Daisy, the Chaos Fund?
You are a figment of Jalan's imagination. I don't think you will be getting paid.